when a cruel biker kicked a Pitbull at Agus station. He had no idea Keanu Reeves was right there fueling up his yellow Ferrari. What was supposed to be a quiet stop to fill the tank would turn into an unforgettable confrontation, proving you should never underestimate the bond between a man and his dog on a sunny day. The heat seems to radiate from the asphalt of a deserted gas station on the highway. The distant hum of engines is interrupted by the low roar of a yellow Ferrari, smoothly pulling into the station. The car gleams under the sun. As Keanu Reeves, wearing sunglasses and a light jacket, steps out to refuel, he opens the back door, and Diesel, a muscular pit bull with gentle eyes, excitedly hops out, wagging his tail. Diesel walks, curiously exploring the surroundings in the corner of the station. A group of loud bikers watches the scene. One of them, a burly man with a menacing grin, fixes his gaze on Diesel. With a slight tap of his boot on the ground, he seems to invite the dog to come closer. Diesel cheerful starts approaching the group of bikers, his tail wagging innocently. One of the men, a sly smile spreading across his face, steps forward, his eyes locked on the dog. The camera zooms in on the biker's heavy boot, which moves subtly. The tension builds. Suddenly, Keanu's expression changes. He realizes what's about to happen. The gas pump nozzle slips from his hand, hitting the ground with a metallic clatter. He takes a step forward, his face now serious. What would you do if you saw something like this? Don't miss what happens next. The gas station looked like a mirage in the middle of the scorching, endless road. Heat waves shimmered in the air, and the heavy scent of fuel lingered. A group of bikers dominated one corner of the station, their motorcycles lined up like predators ready to pounce. They laughed, loudly drinking sodas and smoking, their voices reverberating in the almost empty setting. Keanu Reeves's yellow Ferrari glided smoothly to a stop by a fuel pump, the engine purring for a few seconds before going silent. The car's sleek, glossy paint stood out against the dusty backdrop, drawing attention, including that of the bikers. Keanu stepped out of the car with the ease of someone who had nothing to prove, dressed in a light jacket, sunglasses, and exuding a relaxed demeanor. He seemed unfazed by the intimidating presence of the group. In the backseat, Diesel, a muscular pit bull with bright, curious eyes, watched everything with keen interest. His tail wagged incessantly as he sniffed the air, clearly intrigued by the new smells. Keanu opened the back door and Diesel leapt out, landing gracefully like an athlete. Stay close, buddy, Keanu said, with a warm smile stroking the dog's head. Diesel responded by wagging his tail even faster, as if he understood every word. He began exploring, sniffing the ground and observing the movements around him. Diesel wasn't just a dog. His muscular build and sharp gaze revealed a strong animal, but also one that was friendly and inquisitive. He was the kind of pit bull that defied stereotypes. As he walked near the car, his tail wagging enthusiastically, his demeanor made it clear he was comfortable and confident by Keanu's side. Keanu, on the other hand, kept an eye on the dog while refueling the Ferrari. He seemed relaxed, but his attentive care for Diesel showed the depth of their bond. When Diesel wandered a little farther, Keanu called out, "Hayden, go too far, boy." Diesel stopped, looked back, and obediently stayed closer. As Diesel sniffed around Heiss, excitement brought him closer to the group of bikers. Their loud laughter quieted as they noticed the dog approaching. The leader of the group, a burly man with tattoos snaking up his neck, gave a wicked grin as he spotted Diesel. "Well, look at that. A loose pit bull," he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Shouldn't those things be on a leash?" The other bikers laughed. Music. Rockland continued sniffing, innocent and unbothered. Keanu, realizing Diesel had ventured too close, paused his refueling to call him back. "Diesel here," he said firmly, but before the dog could respond, the biker leader stepped forward. The man halted, locking eyes with the dog. He shifted his legs slightly as if contemplating something. Diesel remained still, staring back with curiosity, unaware of the looming danger. Keanu, now fully alert, set the gas pump nozzle aside, his expression shifting into a mix of vigilance and determination. The heat seemed to intensify and the air grew heavy with tension. Diesel, still unaware of the danger, continued sniffing near the group of bikers. The leader, his cold smile fixed on the dog, made a bolder move, stepping closer. His crew began to chuckle as if anticipating something. Look at that Hollywood star is about to lose his little dog. The leader taunted. Diesel stopped and looked at him, his tail wagging more slowly now as if sensing something was off. Keanu, who had remained calm until now, took a few firm steps toward Diesel. His previously relaxed demeanor was replaced with a serious one. He called again, "Diesel, come here." But before the dog could react, the leader stepped even closer. With a swift motion, the biker lifted his leg and kicked Diesel, hitting him on the side. The dog let out a yelp of pain, retreating a few steps, confused and frightened. The biker's laughter echoed through the gas station as Diesel looked around, not understanding what had just happened. Keanu froze for a second upon seeing the attack, but his expression quickly changed. He walked purposefully to Diesel, completely ignoring the group's taunts, kneeling beside the dog. He ran his hands over Diesel's fur, checking to see if he was hurt. "I'm here, buddy, you're okay," Keanu said in a low, steady voice filled with determination. Diesel, though still shaken, began to calm down at the sound of his owner's voice. Keanu stood slowly, his eyes locked on the leader of the group. He walked up to the man, stopping just a few steps away. The tension in the air was palpable, and even the other bikers fell silent watching the scene unfold. "Did you really think that was necessary?" Keanu asked, his voice calm, but weighted with authority. The leader shrugged his arrogant smirk intact. "It's just a dog. Besides, pit bulls are dangerous. I was doing everyone a favor." He stepped forward as if trying to intimidate Keanu. Keanu narrowed his eyes, tilting his head slightly. "You clearly know nothing about Diesel," he said, his tone firmer. "Now and you're about to learn." The bikers began laughing again, trying to break the tension. One of them chimed in, "Oh, come on, Reeves. You're just an actor, playing hero now." But Keanu didn't back down. He glanced around, noticing that a few people at the station had started recording the incident on their phones. Returning his gaze to the leader, he remained composed, his silence unnerving the man more than any outburst could. "Respecting the vulnerable isn't a sign of weakness," Keanu said, stepping closer. "It's a signal of character, something you clearly lack." The leader, visibly unsettled by Keanu's firm stance, signaled to one of his crew. A second biker began to approach, but Diesel, now more alert, let out a low growl. Keanu positioned himself beside the dog, his expression making it clear that he was ready for whatever came next. The bikers began to move like a pack, circling Keanu and Diesel. The group's leader, still wearing a smug smile, brimming with arrogance, stepped forward, standing face to face with Keanu. The atmosphere, once filled with laughter and noise, now felt heavy with tense silence. Even the other customers at the gas station had stopped what they were doing, their attention fixed on the brewing confrontation. Some had their phones raised, capturing what seemed like the prelude to something much larger. "Well, look at this," the biker leader said, crossing his arms and tilting his head. "Reeves wants to play the hero. How about we give you a little test to see if you're as tough as you are in the movies?" Diesel stood alert beside Keanu, his gaze locked on the group but showing no sign of fear. His tail was no longer wagging. He looked ready to react if needed. Keanu, on the other hand, maintained his calm and composed demeanor. Though a visible tension lingered in his movements, the bikers tried to laugh, but their laughter now sounded forced, as though masking a growing unease. The leader glanced back at his crew, attempting to reinforce his dominance. "It's just a dog," he said, "and just an actor, nothing here to worry about." Keanu didn't respond immediately. He took a small step forward, his posture tall and commanding. "What you did isn't just about a dog," he said, his voice low but weighted with purpose. "It's about who you are, and today you chose to show the worst version of yourself." As Keanu spoke, Diesel let out a low growl, quiet but enough to make the bikers exchange uncertain glances. The group suddenly seemed smaller, less intimidating in the face of Keanu and Diesel's steady presence. Keanu picked up a water hose from the station with one hand. A faint smile crossed his face as he raised it. "You want to test? Fine, let's see who comes out on top," he said, his tone laced with sarcasm, and challenged the bikers. She hesitated for a moment, but one of them, more impulsive than the others, stepped toward Diesel. "Big dog, but probably all bark," he said, trying to deflect from his own insecurity. Keanu didn't wait. He aimed the hose and squeezed the trigger, sending a strong jet of water directly At the biker, the man stumbled backward, soaked. While the rest of the group erupted into laughter, the dynamic had shifted completely. The leader now, visibly unsettled, stepped back as Keanu lowered the hose, his eyes fixed on them, and, "You've had your fun," Keanu said, firmly. "Now it's time to leave before this gets worse." The leader narrowed his eyes, his expression hardening in defiance. "You think this is over?" "Reeves," he spat, his voice laced with challenge. In the distance, the faint sound of sirens began to echo, adding to the tension. One of the gas station customers, discreetly gestured, signaling that the police had been called. Keanu remained unmoved, his presence steady. Diesel stood by his side, unwavering. As the bikers began to look at each other, uncertainty growing among them, the leader hesitated, his arrogance faltering as their realization of consequences began to sink in. The sound of police sirens echoed closer, heightening the tension in the air. The biker leader glanced around, noticing the growing crowd of spectators, all with their phones raised, recording. Every moment, for a brief instant, his smug smile vanished, replaced by a flicker of irritation, but he quickly returned to his provocative stance. Unwilling to lose control of the situation, Diesel stood firmly by Keanu's side, alert and ready as though sensing the escalating danger. Keanu, meanwhile, remained calm, his eyes locked on the biker leader with measured confidence. He took a step forward, closing the between them. "If this isn't over yet," Keanu said firmly, his tone unwavering, "then let's settle it right now." The other bikers began to move, forming a loose circle around Keanu and Diesel at a subtle nod from their leader. One of them stepped forward. With a slow, deliberate gait, a sarcastic grin plastered on his face. "You're all alone, Reeves," he said, with a low chuckle. Keanu raised an eyebrow. "Alone?" He glanced at Diesel, who immediately let out a low, steady growl. "I wouldn't say that," another biker emboldened. By the tension edged closer, testing Keanu's patience, Diesel moved, with swift precision, positioning himself. Between the man and Keanu, baring his teeth, the man froze, clearly caught off guard by the dog reaction, and took a cautious step back. "He won't bite unless I tell him to," Keanu said, his voice as cold and sharp as steel. The bikers hesitated, their confidence visibly faltering. The leader clenched his jaw, realizing he was losing control of the situation. Suddenly, the flashing red and blue lights of police cruisers illuminated the gas station. Two patrol cars screeched to a halt with precise efficiency, and officers emerged, their hands resting on their belts. "Ready to take charge? What's going on here?" one officer demanded, his voice cutting through the tense silence. Keanu turned to the officers, gesturing toward Diesel. "That man," he said, pointing directly at the biker leader, "kicked my dog, and now he's trying to continue the intimidation." The officer's eyes shifted to the group of bikers, who now looked significantly less confident. The leader attempted to brush it off. "It's just a dog, it's not a big deal." At that moment, several bystanders approached the officers, holding out their phones to show the videos they had recorded. The footage clearly captured the moment Diesel was kicked, along with the group's taunts and aggressive behavior. The officers quickly reviewed the evidence. One of them turned to the leader, shaking his head. "This doesn't look like no big deal to me," the officer said sternly. "You've got a lot of explaining to do." As the officers began questioning the bikers, Keanu crouched down to check on Diesel again. "You're okay, buddy," he said softly, running a hand over the dog's head. Diesel responded by licking Keanu's hand, as if reassuring him in return. One by one, the bikers were escorted to the police cruisers, their bravado replaced by quiet apprehension. The leader, however, cast one last venomous glare at Keanu. "You won today, Reeves," he spat. "But next time will be different." Keanu remained unflinching. He placed a steady hand on Diesel's shoulder and met the leader's gaze directly. "If you try again, it won't be different," he said, his voice calm but laced with finality. "It'll be worse for you." With the bikers being escorted into police cruisers, the atmosphere at the gas station began to settle. The flashing police lights still illuminated the scene, but the tension had given way to murmurs from onlookers. Some people continued recording while others exchanged surprised comments about what they had just witnessed. Keanu knelt beside Diesel, carefully checking the dog over. "You okay, buddy?" he asked, running a hand gently over the Pitbull's short fur. Diesel responded with a lick to Keanu's face, as if to say, "I'm fine." One of the officers approached a notepad in hand. "Mr. Reeves," she began respectfully, "we'd like to thank you for keeping the situation under control. We've got footage from witnesses, and it's clear these guys were in the wrong." Keanu rose to his feet, nodded at the officer. "They didn't just attack my dog, they created a dangerous situation for everyone here," he said, his voice steady but firm. "I hope this serves as Allison for them." The officer offered a small smile. "I think you taught them, Allison, before we even got here, but rest assured we'll make sure they're held accountable." People from the gas station began to gather around, some to commend Keanu, and others to admire Diesel. "Your dog is amazing," one woman said gently, "Ping Diesel. He looks so strong but is clearly so sweet." Keanu smiled. "It's all about how you treat them," he replied. "Diesel is strong because he feels safe, and he only fights back when it's absolutely necessary." Another man, holding up his phone with a recording of the incident, added, "This is going viral. Everyone's going to see what happened here. These guys need to learn how to respect animals." Keanu turned to the small crowd. "This is about more than just Diesel," he said, his voice laced with emotion. "How we treat the most vulnerable, whether animals or people, reflects who we are as a society, and every one of us can make a difference." His words were met with nods and murmurs of agreement. Diesel wagged his tail, seemingly content with the attention and affection he was receiving. Keanu returned to the Ferrari and opened the high back door for Diesel. "Time to go, buddy," he said as the dog jumped into the Seat with his usual agility. Keanu took one last look around, offering a small nod to the officers and onlookers before getting into the driver's seat as the Ferrari pulled away. Diesel laid down in the back seat finally. Relaxing, Keanu glanced in the rear-view mirror and said, "You're not just strong, Diesel, you're special, and no one can ever change that." A few hours later, a video of the incident was uploaded online and quickly went viral. Praise flooded in, with Diesel becoming a symbol of resilience and kindness. "You picked up his phone and recorded a message for his followers. Today was an unusual day," he began. "But no matter who you are or where you're from, there's something we should all remember: respect and empathy never go out of style. And sometimes the quietest acts of courage make the biggest difference." He posted the video with the caption, "Be kind, always kindness, always wins even when it's hard." Share this story if you believe the world needs more Diesel and less cruelty. If you think stories like Diesel's deserve to be told, drop a comment below and share it with your friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartfelt stories like this one, because the world needs more kindness, and together we can make a difference.